All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our live online webinar about how to deliver a best-in-class final mile customer experience in remote markets over 125 miles away from a distribution center. My name is Derek Nips. I'm a national account executive with Demountable Concepts, and I specialize in helping furniture retailers specifically implement this system into their final mile delivery operations. And before starting, I do want to mention that all the attendees are in listen only mode. If you do have any questions throughout the webinar, there should be a questions tab accessible to you. Feel free to enter any questions. My colleague Jerry Hazard, another national account executive, is in the background on this call, ready to go to answer any questions you have during the presentation. Or you can write down your questions and wait until the end, and I will open it up for questions and answers after I'm finished, and we'll be happy to answer any of those questions you have live. But again, thank you for joining. I know that it's a crazy time for everybody with the situation going on with the pandemic and the quarantine. But I really hope that the next 20 minutes will be able to provide a lot of value about how our system can help your operation. And also, hopefully, a lot of us are seeing an increase in online sales and overall volume as consumers, I know including myself, look to replace a lot of items in their houses as we are stuck in them. I'm really confident that our warehouse on wheels system can benefit your company as you not only plan for expansion, but also evaluate your current delivery operations. So to go through the agenda for today's webinar, it's going to take about 20 to 30 minutes. We're going to talk a bit about who exactly Demountable Concepts is and how our company started. We're going to explain exactly what the warehouse on wheels system is, the benefits that companies find from using it, along with some success stories for some top furniture retailers across the United States. I'll explain the components and the equipment that we specifically manufacture that allow all this to take place. I'll go over the support that we provide throughout the entire process, and finally, some info that everyone will be able to take with them. And finally, like I mentioned earlier, a quick question and answer session if there's anything that I didn't mention that people want to know at the conclusion of the webinar. So about Demountable Concepts, our company has providing other companies across a variety of industries with our unique demountable truck systems for over 30 years. We're very proud to say that all of our equipment is built in Glassboro, New Jersey, and although we work directly with you, the furniture retailer, to best help you implement our system into your fleet, you'll see throughout this presentation that we also work directly with your truck provider and body builder to help you have the best possible equipment for your specific operation. So we really just want to be the experts in helping companies implement the demountable truck solution themselves. We are not a truck provider or a bodybuilder necessarily. But another thing that's really important to our company itself are our core values. Our core values are important to us, not only exerting these values to all of our companies within the organization every single day, but also aligning ourselves with partners and customers who have the same type of values, because as you'll see in the top middle there, we know that when you do the right thing, always, your company is in a much better place to succeed in the long run overall. And relating to our core values is the sustainability that Warehouse on Wheels can help bring to your operation by eliminating the amount of brick and mortar real estate you need, reducing the overall number of trucks and miles driven on the road, and reducing the amount of idle time that your trucks will be having at docks. You'll not only be creating a leaner and more efficient delivery fleet, but you'll also be reducing your company's overall carbon footprint at the same time. And over our company's 30-year history, we've created a process that might seem basic on paper or on your screen, I guess I should say, but is integral to making sure that every company that implements our warehouse on wheels system has a successful long-term operation. Basically, we're going to be there with you every single step of the way. From looking into our system as an option with quotes, engineering and manufacturing the best possible equipment, providing in-depth driver training, which I'll explain more later because we really do put such an emphasis on this part of the process. And we'll also be there to support you the entire time you're operating our equipment after it's implemented into the operation. So now to explain exactly what the warehouse on wheels system is, but before I show you how the process works, I want to make a few notes that you might not know otherwise. First, on your screen, you see two 26-foot demountable truck bodies along with a tractor that's connected and pulling out underneath with our 53-foot demountable trailer. But looking at the truck body specifically, it's important to note that all of the truck bodies in the warehouse on wheels system are going to have a front and a rear roll-up door, meaning that you can load both of these 26-foot truck bodies out of a single dock door, which is a huge value to our customer. So now to show you exactly how the system works, I'm going to walk you through the system via 3 infographics that'll light up green as I go through them. First, delivery furniture retailers will load two 26-foot truck bodies at their distribution center. And when these truck bodies are being loaded, it's important to note that the product that's being loaded into these truck bodies is being loaded with furniture that's prepped, blanket wrapped, and ready for delivery because the product is not going to be touched again after it's loaded at the distribution center until it's being unloaded off of the final mile delivery straight truck at the customer's house or wherever the delivery site is to make that delivery. So after your two 26-foot truck bodies are loaded with furniture prepped for delivery, a Class A tractor with our 53-foot demountable trailer are going to line haul the two 26-foot truck bodies to a remote market anywhere from 120 to 300 miles away. And in that, what we call swap yard or parking lot, the tractor trailer is going to take approximately 30 minutes to drop off the two preloaded truck bodies that are ready for deliveries, and they're going to back up under the two empty quote unquote truck bodies that really aren't empty because they have returns, customers that weren't at home, and any trash that the drivers had from making the deliveries that need to be returned back to the distribution center to be unloaded and reloaded with new product to start the process over again. Now, it's important to note that the line haul, meaning where the tractor and the 53-foot trailer takes the two 26-foot bodies out to the remote market, almost always takes place in the middle of the night. This means that you're not only going to have the preloaded truck bodies ready for the delivery drivers in the morning, but you're also going to create the most efficient line haul possible because you're going to avoid all traffic and congestion on the roads, even in urban city areas, because the line haul usually takes place between the hours of, let's say, 8 to 10 p.m. till about 6 a.m. in the morning, because the bodies have to be ready for the delivery drivers to start their day at 7 a.m. In the morning, the locally stationed and in most cases completely non-CDL delivery truck drivers hop in a demountable straight truck, back up under one of the demountable bodies, and in 5 minutes that delivery driver can attach the body to his truck, and now that driver can go and make a full day's worth of deliveries before he returns to that parking lot at the end of the day and takes another 5 minutes to drop off his or her body, and now that delivery driver's day is over. So we are really allowing that not only the delivery drivers to start and end their day in the heart of the delivery market, but we're also allowing them to make the maximum number of stops per day, because the only thing they're doing that day besides making deliveries is taking 5 minutes to pick up a body at the beginning of the day and taking 5 minutes at the end of the day to drop off their body. So that's essentially exactly the process for warehouse on wheels. Moving into some of the benefits and success stories. When looking at the benefits for the warehouse on wheels system, it's important to look at the alternatives to really see the great benefits that companies find. So as companies expand into markets that are over 120 miles away, it no longer makes feasible sense to use the same traditional delivery method of sending 26-foot trucks on long drives because there's too much windshield time in between the distribution center and the first delivery stop of the day, and then the last delivery stop of the day before they return back to the warehouse. Some other companies will try to use cross docks to enter markets. With our system, not only can companies eliminate the entire brick and mortar cross dock, but they can also eliminate 2 product touches, because if you're taking a 53-foot trailer full of furniture to a regional delivery hub or cross dock, unloading that furniture and then reloading it onto a 26-foot truck, you are now causing 2 additional product touches that won't take place in the warehouse on wheels system. And like I mentioned, we're also able to eliminate the entire brick and mortar cross dock itself. One great success story for this specific example is Haverty's Furniture. Haverty's Furniture, before using warehouse on wheels, was basically cross docking in a back of store warehouse at almost all of their locations. So by using the warehouse on wheels system, it did require a significant initial investment, but they eliminated 49 back of store warehouses, and as you can see, saved millions of dollars a year through this consolidation of centralizing their inventory and product touches. And now they're able to service over 120 retail locations through 5 warehouses throughout the country. And they also have over 500 demountable truck bodies on the road, which is important to note that because of the way the demountable truck system is set up, any single demountable truck can work with any single demountable body, and you can take any 2 demountable bodies and use them with any one of our trailers if we spec things correctly. So Haverty's can take a demountable truck from Florida, a demountable truck from Texas, and then 2 demountable bodies from Ohio, and they can be confident that all of their equipment is going to be completely compatible throughout the entire country, no matter what kind of trucks or bodies they use, because of the demountable system that we're providing them with. Another benefit that companies find is the ability to enter new markets when before a company or retailer wasn't exactly sure the best way for them to enter that new market without spending the significant expense on additional warehousing. So with our warehouse on wheels system, we provide a truck-based system that allows you to easily make deliveries using your existing warehouses in new markets that are over, like I mentioned, that 125 to 150 mile distance away without having the investment of the brick and mortar real estate. And one great example of this is Bears Furniture down in Florida. Not only were they able to expand to the west coast of Florida from their Pompano Beach, Eastern Florida-based distribution center, but they're also now using demountable warehouse on wheels to go up north to the whole state of Florida. So they were able to expand across an entire state out of one distribution center because of the use of our warehouse on wheels system, and continue to enter new markets without needing to add additional warehouses. Before using the warehouse on wheels system, Bears was using a pup trailer operation. The problem with pup trailers is not only can pups not be loaded 2 pup trailers out of one dock door, they need to be individually loaded because they do not have front doors. But pup trailers also require the delivery driver to be a Class A CDL driver, which is a much more expensive and harder driver to find than a completely non-CDL driver. And I'll get into that a bit more later in my presentation. And I had mentioned this, but some companies that are entering markets that are about 125 to 150 miles away will send their 26-foot delivery trucks on really long drives to start and end their day because they don't really have another alternative for making deliveries in that market. Well, with some new laws, it's come out that if a non-CDL truck is going over 150 miles away from a warehouse or distribution center where they start and end their day, that driver now has to follow DOT compliance, which means sending drivers on these long drives becomes a lot more difficult. You're also able to not make as many deliveries per day with these trucks because you're spending so much time on the road getting to the remote market. And because delivery trucks usually go out in teams of 2, the amount of labor that's inefficiently spent in windshield time for both delivery drivers and their partners to sit in a truck while they're not make deliveries becomes really inefficient. So a great success story for this is Matter Brothers, who was based out of the Fort Myers, Florida area and was looking to expand into the Tampa, Florida area. And at first, they decided not to use warehouse on wheels. They were sending, like I just mentioned, the 26-foot trucks up to this remote market, but they were finding that not only were they losing 5 hours a day per 26-foot truck due to the travel time being spent on the road, but they were also having issues with the drivers being subjected to the DOT compliance laws, and they were only able to make about 8 or 9 deliveries per day. So by moving to warehouse on wheels, they now shuttle 26-foot bodies in the middle of the night from Fort Myers up to Tampa, and they have delivery drivers that start and end their day in the remote market that are now able to make an average of 15 to 16 deliveries per day because they gained an extra 5 hours every single day of delivery time on the road. And I mentioned it a bit earlier with Bears Furniture, but a lot of times companies see our equipment either on the road or in one of these presentations, and they think it looks very similar to a pup trailer operation. And there are some key differences between our warehouse on wheels system and a pup trailer that really make our warehouse on wheels system a home run versus the alternative. And I mentioned it, but it's the ability to have a non-CDL driver be the final mile delivery driver. It really opens up your driver pool, saves you a little bit of money, but the ability to find drivers and have a larger hiring pool in today's day and age is monumental when it comes to value. And now moving on to the exact equipment components that allow everything to take place. Before I show you the equipment, it's important to note that our equipment can either be purchased directly from us, it can be purchased through your truck dealer in a financing deal if that's how you purchase your trucks, or our equipment can be leased through any leasing company throughout the United States. So like I mentioned earlier, we'll work with those partners to help this all happen. But any way you currently purchase your truck equipment, you can purchase your truck equipment the same way with the demountable equipment included. So the first piece of equipment I want to touch on is the final mile truck, which includes our straight truck chassis lift. We do have 2 different truck lift systems. One is hydraulic and one is air. The only difference of the 2 systems is that the air system weighs a little bit less. I'll work with you to determine which system would be best for your operation, but because furniture companies are generally cubing out because they're weighing out, the hydraulic system tends to be the best system for furniture applications. Another important note to make about our lift system is that the lift system generally outlives the life of the truck chassis. Whether you're owning the truck chassis or leasing the truck chassis, a big value add for our equipment is that the lift system that goes on the truck can be uninstalled off one truck and then reinstalled onto another truck to extend the life and ROI of the demountable equipment in the future as you continue to run your operation. A big question we get when it comes to the final mile delivery trucks or whether a company can use a lift gate, and the answer to that question is yes, but it's important to note that we, Demountable Concepts, will install the liftgate ourselves on the rear of the truck chassis itself. So the liftgate is attached to the truck and not the body. And it's the same thing for the walk ramp. You can have a walk ramp with our system as well. The walk ramp lives with the lift system that we install on a truck, meaning that if a truck pulls out from underneath a body, the walk ramp would pull out from underneath the body with the truck. Next is the equipment that we make for the demountable body itself. What you see on your screen is the only part of the demountable body that we manufacture. We call it a demountable body base frame. We build this base frame. We work with all major bodybuilders in the United States. We ship this base frame to their production facility, where they simply take our base frame, put it into their production line where their subframe would normally be, and then they lay down their floor and build up the body exactly to your specifications, just like any other truck body, only now the body is going to have a front and a rear door so that you can load the two bodies out of one dock. But when it comes to whether it's an aluminum roof or a translucent roof, or what type of interior cargo control you need with wooden slats or E-track, anything you currently like to have on your typical truck bodies, you can have on a demountable body that's built on our demountable base frame. The most typical setup for furniture is two 26-foot truck bodies, and you can build them either 96 or 102 inches wide. And the final piece of equipment we manufacture is the semi-trailer, which carries two 26-foot bodies at once. And our demountable trailer is compatible with any existing Class A tractor in the field. And like I mentioned, we manufacture the entire trailer and we'll deliver that to you along with the bodies in this deal. And a few videos that I thought would be helpful to show, since unfortunately it's a bit harder to bring demo trucks out to different areas right now, although we are willing to do that. The first video shows how the demountable leg deploys from the body to show you that process. And then once all four legs are deployed, you would then push a button to lower the body to the ground, so the body would then be standing on its legs. And once a body is standing on all four legs, the next video shows the value that we're bringing to your final mile delivery trucks, and you can see the concept of a straight truck pulling out from underneath the 26-foot body and backing up underneath that same body that's standing on its four legs. I mentioned earlier on the process slide that we take driver training very seriously, and because this is new equipment to any operation, we provide in-depth, in-person driver training sessions for every customer that implements our system into a new market. Not only do we go out and train all of your delivery drivers that are going to be starting to use the equipment, but we also have a train the trainer program where we'll work with your delivery manager or warehouse manager or supervisor to make sure that they are trained to such a level where they are able to bring on new drivers to safely operate our equipment if needed. On top of that, we do provide online training videos, online operation manuals, how to pre-trip our equipment with a couple additional steps, and everything that you need to successfully implement our system. We've trained and helped thousands of drivers currently use our system on the road every single day. And wrapping up with some next steps, we are available to bring the entire warehouse on wheel system anywhere in the country to show you exactly how it would work at your facility. It's very easy to hear about a company implementing a system and all the success, or to hear how easy it is to work, but it's another thing to see it in person. So if you are someone who is really interested in seeing exactly how the truck works and you want to put your hands on the equipment, please let us know and we can make that happen. If for some reason, for for travel restrictions, or if we can't make it happen as quickly as you would like, we do have about 30% of the top 100 furniture retailers in the United States from that furniture top 100 list, as well as dozens of other furniture retailers across the country and hundreds of customers in other industries throughout the United States currently using our demountable systems. So I'm sure we can find a customer of ours that's within your area. And because we do our best to create the best relationships we can with all our customers, it's usually not an issue for prospects to visit customer sites to see how the trucks work ahead of time. And also, please reach out to me if you're interested in seeing what a warehouse on wheels system would cost and helping potentially budgeting the warehouse on wheels system and what it would look like to implement this system versus what you're doing for your current delivery operation. And on the screen, you'll see my contact information along with my email, my direct line for my office, and my cell phone number. You should also have access to 2 handouts. One is a PDF that goes over the specific components that I went over earlier that we manufacture that allow the equipment to work, so you have that for your records. And the other PDF goes over a brief overview of the warehouse on wheels system, just to keep that concept in your mind. So feel free to download either of those PDFs at this time to keep them for your records. And as we wrap up, this would be a great time if anyone does have any specific questions about using the warehouse on wheels system, implementing it, current, success stories that I went over. It would be a great time to ask away, and I'll be happy to answer any of those questions live, or you can email me afterwards, and I'll be happy to either schedule some time on the phone to go over with you in more detail, or we can go back and forth via email with some questions. So. One thing that I didn't note, that I don't have a slide on in this presentation, but I do often get asked the question about, is that when it comes to the furniture industry specifically, there's always the conversation of using your own drivers versus using either an independent contractor or a third-party logistics company. Know that our customers make deliveries both ways. We have many customers who purchase the equipment themselves, they hire their own delivery drivers, and they have the entire operation be in-house. But we also have many furniture retailers that utilize a third-party logistics company for either the line haul portion, where the Class A tractor is bringing out the bodies to the remote market, or the final mile portion of the operation, where you can use a 3PL to have another outside company make the deliveries for you. So those are also both options, as well as doing it all yourself, as far as a question that I often get asked. I'm going to go back one slide in the meantime, just to put my contact info back on the screen, so that if anyone does have any questions, you can quickly jot down my email or either number where you can reach me at any time. I don't see any questions coming through in the meantime. And as a presenter, I like to see no questions and take that as it was a very thorough presentation, and no one needs any more explanation. But please, like I mentioned, reach out at any time. I do travel the entire United States helping furniture retailers implement this system as successfully as possible into their fleet. I have way more success stories than the 3 that were mentioned today, and I'm happy to help in any way, if possible, as we all look to have the most efficient and profitable operations, not only in 2020, but moving forward into 2021 and beyond. So with that being said, thanks. I see a great job. That's a great question. A great job, Derek, is a great question. I appreciate that. Again, I appreciate everyone's time for listening. I'll reach out anytime if you need me. And with that, I'm not going to waste anyone else's time. I'm going to end the webinar, but you know where to find me if needed. And I hope to do business with many of you, if not all of you, in the future and help out in any way. So enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks.